Recording.
Right. Thank you, Taylor. I really appreciate that. Welcome. I am excited. I love meeting new people. So this is really exciting to get to know your audience and all the Minoan members out there. So shout out to everybody. So my name is Kenny Bedwell. I'm the founder of STR and I'm the CEO of STR Insights. We're a consulting platform. We help people find profitable short-term rental deals. But before we were consulting, we actually have a data platform as well, very comparable to like an AirDNA. And so my background is heavy data analytics. And we're going to talk about data, but we're going to make it fun. I always try to make these things fun because usually when people hear data and presentation, they fall asleep. So I'm here to make data fun again. So anyway, we'll start out. I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and we're going to do a presentation. So we're going to be focusing on amenities today and how to figure out what amenities maximize revenue. So I'm going to make the assumption, and I need some participation from this audience here so I can get to know you guys better. When I get to know you, it helps me cater and customize the presentation for you, which ends up helping you better. My goal of this whole thing is to help you guys understand what specific amenities you should add to your property that are going to help you maximize your revenue. Okay. And you're going to find that when I talk about amenities, it's going to tie directly with design and decor as well. Um, Also, another goal too is for me to inspire you to come up with unique ideas as well. I'm going to use a term called moat a lot, and I'll get to that in a second on what that means. But essentially, how can we build our moat? And that is the theme for today. So, um, without further ado, help me. I'm going to start the presentation, but I want you guys to be actively involved in the chat. We're going to do some polls and just whatever respond in there. So first, I want to know how many people are already own a short-term rental. And if you own a short-term rental, just let me know in the chat where your short-term rental property is. So let me know in the chat where your short-term rental property is as we're going through. Got some Destins and Indy and okay, well, Rockport and all right, very nice. Lots of good stuff here. Branson, Hudson. Man, a very good diversification of properties around the country. I love it. I love it. It's going to be a fun presentation. Okay. So let's start with data. Okay. Because this is my bread and butter. This is where I live. I used to be a data analyst for Citibank several years ago. At some point in time, I'm going to have to stop saying I was at Citibank because it's been 3 or 4 years now since I left. But anyway, I love data, and that is my background. So what I want to start with is what all of you are probably experiencing, which is the state of the industry. So this is from STR Insights data. This is the data that our company can pull in our software. And so what this is, we have four charts here, line charts. Okay. For those of you who are like, I don't do graphs or charts or whatever, like I apologize, but this is just really helpful. So I'll break it down and keep it super simple. So what we're seeing here is the revenue. We have revenue, average daily rate, which I'll refer to as ADR throughout the presentation, occupancy, and active listing count. All right. What do we notice? Just looking at the pictures here. January 2023 revenue all the way to June 2025. I apologize, the chart's, 2 months off. This is an old one from a presentation I did in July. So what do we notice about revenue? It kind of up and down and obviously seasonal, right? This is the overall market of Airbnb, not just one particular market in general, but overall. All right. So it's up and down. Maybe you notice a trend, which we're going to get to in a second. Maybe you don't. Okay. Not a lot to learn from. But what do we notice about ADR? So here it is. You can see it going up and then slowly down and then kind of getting up. But comparatively, like if we just cherry pick some dates, so if we look at June 2023 to June 2025, it's lower, right? What do we notice about occupancy? Well, occupancy looks relatively the same. Here's June 2025, here's June 2023. I mean, that's pretty much the same. And then what do we notice about active listing count? This is how many active short-term rentals are per like market or whatever on average. It's an average for the entire markets in the United States. So I'm gonna preface that. So we notice here, and then it just kind of steadily increases, right? So there's a lot more short-term rentals than there were in January. Occupancy is about the same since 2023 overall. And average daily rate appears to be slightly lower, which means what? Because occupancy and ADR make up our revenue. It means that everything is down except supply. Supply is up, average revenue is down. If you want to get into the particulars in the industry wide, it's down about 10%. Okay. There's just more competition. We're at a different day and age. It's getting a lot more competitive, especially in like half of the markets you guys have named. Smokies, Destin, I see Broken Bow, especially Broken Bow. Curious to know what you're doing to stand out and compete. Banner Elk, that's a Branson. These are all very St. Augustine. Kissimmee. There's the king of competition right there in terms of competitiveness. All of these markets are extremely competitive. And that's okay. You can be successful in competitive markets. You just need to know what to add to your property to stand out. That's going to not, you're not going to overspend, but also maximize revenue. All right. And that's what we're going to cover today. So, oops, some of these slides are mixed from different presentations, but and sometimes, guys, I fly by the seat of my pants in these presentations, and sometimes I'll just like pull out a listing or an example to show you, or maybe in the Q&A we'll do some more of that. But I'm really gonna try to bring it to you guys based on your responses that help you out. That's the goal of this. So who am I as a person? So I am a short-term rental host. I've been investing in this space since 2018. I have property in New York, North Carolina, Kentucky, Texas, New Orleans. I have a hotel in New Orleans. And we just closed on a property in Arizona. So everyone clap for me. I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that. But we just closed on it. It's going to be this really big 9-bedroom, 6-bath in Flagstaff, Arizona. Really cool. And I have some pictures in here. If I don't, I'll share some pictures because it's really important to see the vision of the particular amenities and the design concepts we're going into that will help us maximize revenue. So I'm also a dad. I have two daughters. One's 4, the other one's 2. She's currently napping right now in the room next to me, so I'm not going to yell too loudly. But I'm a pretty, I guess, average guy. And I really love teaching and educating. And so you're going to see I'm very passionate about this, and I get very excited. So bear with me. Enjoy the ride, is what I tell people. And if you don't, then just watch the recording later. But one of my fun things to do, if you follow me on Instagram, and in fact, if all of you could actually go on Instagram and follow me, that would get me over 4,100. That would mean the world to me. But I love making hilarious Instagram reels that are related to short-term rentals. Don't know how many people can do that, but I am one of them. So go check out my Instagram at Kenny_Bedwell and give me a follow. That would be mean the world to me. Okay, so that's a little bit on who I am. I speak at a lot of conferences. I teach a lot about the data and finding deals, but also maximizing revenue through amenities. One thing that I want to be clear on is there's a lot of information here, and I'm going to make it hopefully fun for you, but I strongly encourage you to take notes or at least refer back to the recording once I'm done with it, because this information, I'm going to drop a lot of nuggets. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I've been doing this for a while, and so the stuff I'm about to tell you is going to be like, I'm hoping you have an aha moment is my goal. So let's dive into it. So there are 3 types of amenities. Okay. When people come to me all the time, they say, Kenny, here's my property. What amenities should I add to it? And I'm like, well, what's your goal? Like, why are you adding the amenity? And the answer I always get without fail is, I want to make more money. I'm like, okay, cool. That's great. Or just like, Kenny, what type of, what level of design and decor should I add to my property? Well, what's the goal? Well, I want to make more money. I want to maximize my ROI, whatever it is. Awesome. But here's the thing. This is what we have to understand. Not every amenity is going to simply make you more money. It might indirectly make you more money, but just adding the amenity, and we're going to go back to this topic of not just checking boxes of I'm adding a particular amenity or I'm doing adding particular design decor. It's not about the check boxes. It's about how you market it and what the purpose is. So when you add an amenity, it's about building a strategy. That's nugget number 1. Build a strategy for the type of design and decor, for the type of amenity you want to add to your property so that you stand out. Okay. I'm not a designer, so I am not going to talk a lot about design. So I'm going to stop mentioning the word design in a second. It's really going to be about amenities. And what I have found is that it's irrelevant to me telling you these specific amenities to add. Like if I just gave you a list, you'd be like, great. Most of you would probably go out and just buy those amenities and put them in your rental. Will they actually make you more money? Maybe for some, maybe not for others. It's because it's not about adding the amenity, it's how you market the amenity and the plan, the strategy. Because amenities are broken down into three key categories. There's amenities that improve or increase your average daily rate or ADR. There's amenities that increase your occupancy. And there's amenities that increase your guest experience. Some amenities we could argue fall into multiple categories, but most amenities fall into one category. Okay. They're all linked together. But when you think about what amenities you should add or you're planning to add particular amenities, you really should list out what you have and which categories they fall into, because that will help you know like where you're lacking and where you might need to increase. Um, the great thing about this is all the amenities can improve revenue, right? If you increase occupancy, that means more bookings, you make more money. If you increase your ADR, you make more money. If you increase the guest experience, what's the consequence of that? You get better reviews and ratings, which gets you more bookings, which makes you more money, right? So they're all tied in together, but we have to be strategic and know what the purpose is for that amenity, like which category it's going to impact, and how are we going to market that amenity to increase bookings to make more revenue. Does that make sense? Does everyone kind of follow what I'm saying here? So it's not just like add a hot tub, add, a game room, or add this particular like new thing that's come out and everyone's adding to their property. Like it's not that simple. Be strategic. Okay, so let's go through what I want to do, like a brief activity with you guys. This is where we pull up the chat. Let's get interactive here. Let's get involved. I'm going to show you guys a picture of an amenity. Okay. And I want you to tell me, going back to the three categories here, pop quiz, right? Do you think the amenity, so yes, arguably each amenity can fall under one of the three categories. Well, arguably, but which main category, do you think it impacts the most? Okay. ADR, occupancy, or guest experience. So we're going to start with the hot tub. Hot tubs. Okay. It could be a generic hot tub. It could be a hot tub that looks like this. I don't care. A hot tub. What is it? Does it increase your ADR? Does it increase your occupancy? Or does it increase the guest experience? Someone said, a lot of people are saying 3. Someone says depends on your market. Someone says 1, 2. A lot of people are saying 3. I think overall, if we took a poll, I see a lot of 3s. I see some 1s and I see some 2s. So I want you to, if your camera's off, that's okay. I want you to internally, I love doing this from stage. This is my favorite thing. If you said 3, you're wrong. Okay. If you said 1, you're also wrong. It's 2. Let me tell you why. Now, look, arguably, we could say it improves guest experience and it can increase your ADR potentially. That one's a hard. I don't actually think hot tubs increase your ADR. They increase your occupancy because they are actually a seasonal amenity. Here's my example. So I have a property in a lake market in Watkins Glen, New York. I decided to add a property or add a hot tub. Okay. And I know this is crazy, but this was about 2 years ago. No one in my market had a hot tub. And this is a lake market, guys. Okay. No one in my market had a hot tub. So I'm looking around and I'm like, hot tubs are pretty, even 2 years ago, like everyone was starting to add them. Like it was starting to be a pretty standard amenity in other markets. And I'm like, no one here has a hot tub. Like, should I do this? Is this risky? Like like, and then I'm looking at other markets. I'm like, this is a lake market. I have a lake property. Yeah, I should add a hot tub. Okay. And this was middle of summer. I'm in June. So I go out and I buy this really nice hot tub. I paid for it because the salesman got me on it, but whatever. That's another story. It's durable though. But I get this hot tub. I set it up in my property July 1st, and I'm super excited. I'm like, I get pictures of it. I bring the professional photographer out, and I'm like, just take pictures of the hot tub and like all this stuff. We stage it, we get it going, and I'm like, I upload it to my Airbnb and VRBO, and I'm like, let the bookings come in. And I just sit there and I'm standing there like, let the money rain. Crickets. Crickets, crickets, crickets. No bookings, no new bookings, nothing. Now, I had bookings for July. It's a lake market, right? I already had bookings for July. I already had bookings for August, but nothing for September or October yet. Okay. So a whole month goes by and I was like, this was the dumbest idea ever. I'm a complete idiot. I'm supposed to know data. Like, what am I doing? I'm a failure. And all of a sudden, I get a booking at like after a month, like beginning of August. And they're like, hey, Kenny, we're so excited to check out the hot tub. We're really looking forward to it. And I'm like, wait a second. What like are they anomaly? And then the next day I get another booking. And it's like the same thing. Is someone asked, does the hot tub work? And I'm like, well, yeah, why wouldn't it work? But you got to double check these days with Airbnbs. So I'm like, okay. And then the next week I get another booking and it's all for the fall. And I start piecing it together and I'm like, you know what? Right now in July, this is at that time, I'm like, it's freaking, or in August, it's like 90, 92 degrees. Who the heck wants to get in a hot tub in 92 degrees? They want to get in the fall and the winter. And what I noticed is that hot tub during the winter time that year in that season, every single weekend got booked. So I made more money. Obviously, I was actually able to pay that hot tub, give me 100% ROI, meaning I got all my money back and then some in that 1 year of adding that hot tub. Okay. So like obviously it was a great idea and I wasn't a failure and an idiot for adding it. But the lesson I learned is that the hot tub attracts certain people during certain times of the year for certain seasons. It's a seasonal amenity. It increases occupancy, not ADR. I can't charge more simply because I have a hot tub, but I can get more bookings because I have a hot tub because it's seasonal. Okay, so that's the lesson. Let's do another one. I'm not gonna give you a story for every single one, but we got to go through them. Okay, what about a swimming pool? What are we thinking for a swimming pool? Is that going back to our list here for those that recently joined? We're trying to decide, does it increase ADR? Does it increase occupancy or does it increase guest experience? What do you guys think? One, two, or three? I see a lot of ones. See a lot of, okay. All right. If you said one, like behind your camera, raise your hand. You are correct. Good job. That is that a pool, excuse me, a pool increases your ADR, your average daily rate. It is a big amenity. Amenities that improve your ADR are actually, there's not a very long list of them. Okay. And the reason why is because you are adding something to your property that convinces the guests that the price should be significantly more. Not that they should just come and stay at your property. That's part of it, but think about it psychologically. It's like a hot tub, people might be willing to pay a little bit more for a place that has a hot tub, but they're really not going to pay like hundreds or thousands of dollars more because of a hot tub. They're going to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars more for a property with a pool or potentially a property where you add another bedroom. There's different types of definitions of amenities for this, but ADR, when you think about amenities that improve your average daily rate, they're usually really, really big amenities, like game changer amenities. Okay. And we'll go through some other examples in a second. But yeah, Kat said, I thought it was a trick when I said, if you chose one, good job. Yeah, I do that on purpose. It's one of the fun things I like to do. It's fun when it's in person with the audience, people are raising their hands. But anyway, um, the pool is such a big, big, big ADR increasing amenity. Now, Sharon added a really interesting comment. This is a bonus one. So she says the hot tub came with the house, so we left it. Also, we have a pool heated, and I want to talk about that. Heated. Do we think heated increases ADR or occupancy? It increases occupancy, right? A heated pool. The pool increases ADR, but heating the pool increases your occupancy because people can use the pool for longer periods of time, longer time occupancy. Okay. So think about, especially for those of you who are in beach markets and you're like, what amenities should I add? Normally, it's not the ADR increasing amenities or even the guest experience amenities. It's usually improve your occupancy. Okay. Other markets, mountain markets, you might have some of these things. I'm not saying go put in a pool. Let's get to the guest experience ones. All right, let's go to the next one. What about a sauna? One, two, or three? In particular, a barrel sauna. Do we think it improves ADR, occupancy, or guest experience? One, two, or three? Three, 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 three. Okay. So if you said three, you're wrong. It's actually two again. It's a seasonal amenity. Think about it. Once again, how many people get in a barrel sauna in the middle of summertime? Okay. Maybe some crazies, but like you're thinking about outliers to be completely fair. I have a property in Asheville, North Carolina, where we added a barrel sauna. Nobody gets in that thing in the middle. We get zero mentions of in our reviews about the barrel sauna. Come fall and wintertime, people are talking about it. People appreciate it. People use it. We see it in our messaging. We see it in our reviews. It is a seasonal amenity. Okay. Yes, it can improve the guest experience, but that's not why it's there. So it is a occupancy amenity, improving occupancy during the off season. All right, last one. Game room. This is arcades, but game room. Does it improve ADR, occupancy, or guest experience? One, two, or three? Three, three, three. Everyone's saying three. Okay, good. You are all correct. Three is the right answer. All right. Three. It's a guest experience. In my based on the data, and here's the thing, like everybody knows me for the data, like, what's the data on this? What's the data on this? The reality is like I have a lot of like proprietary data that's just not public, and you guys will never get the answers to unless you hear me talk about it randomly or you reach out to me or something like that. And so my goal, part of this presentation, is to help you guys like understand that you can figure these things out on your own by like kind of piecing together what we see on Airbnb and the reviews and the ratings and what people are saying. So game rooms don't improve ADR. They don't really improve occupancy either because people can use game rooms year round, right? And people do use game rooms year round. So it's not really like this, oh, cool, like they have a game room, therefore I'm willing to pay even more money, or I'm only going to stay there in the wintertime because they have a game room. Like maybe, arguably, but not really. It's a guest experience thing. The really cool game rooms get mentioned in reviews, better revenue. So a game room improves guest experience. All right, cool. So I think we kind of got the point. Oh, last one, big popular one. Sorry, I love this one because this is a debatable one for sure. Pickleball courts. What do we think, everybody? Throw them in the chat real quick so we can move on. What do we think pickleball courts increase ADR occupancy or guest experience? One, three. Okay, so short answer, if you put two, it's definitely not two. They don't improve occupancy. They improve either potentially ADR. It's really three. It's really guest experience. That one's like the most up in the air one. It will increase your bookings based on guest experience because people actually want to do that, which arguably could be lead to ADR. It's really hard to tie pickleball courts to just like charging more, but people are able to get more bookings throughout multiple seasons. And that one also you could argue, well, it depends on the market. Like mountain markets where it snows, I don't know how many people are going to be using pickleball courts, but in the summertime, it becomes a little bit more, usable. But in Florida, where it doesn't snow year round, people like pickleball courts year round. So arguably, it's a guest experience and it's a marketability amenity as well. Okay. I would argue that there's technically four categories. If you want to get the bonus one is marketable amenities. And pickleball courts are very marketable, right? Like even when I'm looking at amenities to stay at, or sorry, Airbnbs to stay at, and I see a property, like to be fair, my wife plays tennis. She hates pickleball. She like makes fun of it. She will play it like with her brother, but she's like, it's not a real sport. Um, I get it. I'm like, whatever. Like I like racquetball and like just killing the ball as hard as I can. But when we stay at Airbnbs, like the ones with pickleball courts look really cool. Do we actually play pickleball over there? It's up in the air, but it just looks cool. And so we're led to book that property. So we're really thinking about guest experience, amenities, and amenities that are marketable are also ways to help you increase your revenue. Um, so Linda said in Florida, summer would be brutal outside. Sure, but what if you're not from Florida? Do you actually know that? And most people aren't when they're visiting. So, sure, they know, oh yeah, that like right now is hurricane season. A lot of people aren't like, yeah, let me vacation down to Florida. But Even then, we see like the properties that have pickleball courts in Florida do really, really well year round. So anyway, I like I said, I just speak for the data. So um lesson. It's not, and I talked about this earlier, so let's dive into it. It's not just about adding a particular amenity. It's about your strategy and how you want to market that amenity. Okay. So what the point is when you're thinking about like, what should I add? How should I add it? You really need to be thinking about what I call the moat. The moat is the thing that separates you from everybody else. I'm not talking about a physical moat, guys. Okay. Please don't send me any properties with actual moats. Like people do that all the time, think it's funny. It kind of is for like 5 seconds, but I've gotten so many of them. I'm like, okay, I get it. But this is the term I talk about all the time. How can we insulate or protect ourselves against saturation of the markets? Right. I just said the F bomb in the short-term rental space, saturation, the S bomb, I'll call it, because that's really what people are afraid of. Right. We're afraid of over competition, and a lot of you are experiencing that. We've seen that in markets like Orlando, Kissimmee, Davenport, where all the properties are themed out. They're overly themed. People are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars just to try to ink out a dime. It just isn't worth it. It doesn't make any sense. But because everyone's buying in the same subdivisions and they all look the same and all the properties offer the same product, the result is the same. They've saturated their market, and there's nothing there to really separate the rentals from amongst themselves besides just their amenities they can add inside in their design and decor. So we need to be looking for properties and or creating moats with our own property, things that are unique that can separate us that the 95% won't do or can't do. Okay, let's look at some examples. All right. So here's a classic example. First, let's take a fire pit. Awesome. You can add a fire pit. Fire pits can help you make more money, but it's not about just adding a fire pit. It's about what you take the pictures with the fire pit. Like if I took the picture of this, you see the view, it's really beautiful and the sunrise and all that great stuff, right? If I took the picture facing the other way, it would not have the same impact, right? It would be ugly. You'd probably see the side of the house and the trees or whatever. It's not the same as the views with a fire pit. You're selling an experience, not an item or product on Amazon. Okay. We're not selling, hey, come buy this fire pit. You're selling the use of that amenity, the fire pit with the views. Imagine that. You can visually see that. That's what you're selling on Airbnb and VRBO. That's what you need to decide when you're like, I want to add a particular amenity. Cool. Think of one, and then how can you sell that experience? I want to show a graph real quick. I'm going to skip around my present. This is where we start at getting a little bit skipping around here. Where is it? It's this one. Okay. I'm showing you guys a pretty chart. So I've got this is like a data graph from beach markets all around the country, lake markets all around the country. Okay. And what you're seeing here are properties. This is bedroom count down here. So 1 through 6. All right. Up here is revenue. Okay. Same thing over here. Same basic chart. The blue are properties without hot tubs. The orange are properties with hot tubs. Same thing. Blue without, orange with. Okay. So when we look at this, just high level, we can say number one, obviously, if you add a hot tub, most likely you can make more money. Okay. But when we dive deeper, see these little lines here? You see these lines are averages. So the average is here, the average is there without a hot tub, with a hot tub. So what we're looking at is an understanding though, and this is very important. You see there are properties below that line in the orange that do have hot tubs, but they make less than properties without hot tubs. Same thing all the way through. There's properties right here that don't have hot tubs, or sorry, that the ones right here that don't have hot tubs that are making more than ones that do have hot tubs. So it's not just simply adding the amenity that makes you more money. It's what you do with the amenity. So instead of thinking, what amenity should I have? We need to be thinking about number one, who are we trying to attract to our place? How can I better attract them to my place? Understanding the 3 amenity categories: increase ADR, increase occupancy, or increase their experience. For example, If I'm looking and I'm saying, look, I'm trying to attract, which most of us are trying to attract families, right? It doesn't matter your property size. Most of you, unless you have a one bedroom or a bachelor or bachelorette pad or something, most of us are trying to attract families to our place. Okay. You want to get a little more specific than that, but let's generically look at that. So if I'm thinking about it, I'm like, where's my market? Who is coming here? Like, what type of family? Like, what activities are they doing here? Is it a national park? Is it a ski area? Is it a beach area? What amenities? So then I start saying, okay, cool. Now that I know I'm in a beach market or a mountain, we'll pick on mountain markets for a second. I'm in a mountain market. Okay, so they're coming to get away. Maybe it's the Smokies. So they're coming to enjoy the national park and maybe Dollywood and other things. What types of amenities would encourage them to come during the off season? What types of amenities would encourage them to, that would make them happier, they would enjoy for their kids or their family? One of the biggest mistakes one of my designers made on one of my properties is we were looking at a room and she said, I'd have to dig for the pictures. It's interesting. I said, she put a poker table in a room. And I said, my guest avatar are families. And she said, yeah, I understand that. And she said, but the kids aren't the ones that are booking. It's the parents. They're the ones who pay the money. And I was like, yeah, but do you not have kids? Like, do you understand that we actually book for the kids so that they can do things so we don't have to worry about them like entertaining them throughout the entire day? She didn't have kids, so she didn't understand that. So when we know our guest avatar, we know that, hey, I probably shouldn't put a poker room in a quote unquote ultra family friendly property, right? That doesn't really make sense. It doesn't fit. Sure, you can do that, but am I really attracting families or just like generic everyone? So be very strategic and ask those questions. Who is coming here? Why are they coming here? How can I improve their experience or make them come in the off season or make potentially add something that they want to pay more money for? Those are the questions you start with to help you know what amenities you should be adding to your property. Okay, let's go back. Let's look at some examples because I'm tired of just talking about it. So, I'm gonna skip through. Let's go to my Kentucky property. All right. So I bought this property in Kentucky last year. This property I bought for $1 million, and I'm gonna be honest, like this is the before picture of it on the outside. It's nice, but it's not like. And why do people come to Kentucky? They come to Kentucky for the Bourbon Trail. This is a like the Napa Valley of the Southeast for bourbon, right? So there's like 56 distilleries or something like that all throughout this area. People are coming here in large groups. It's become a legit thing. I mean, there's like 3.6 million people that travel on the Bourbon Trail to go to all the distilleries. Pretty cool stuff. So, what's the lesson here? So, I found this property for $1 million. Okay. It was a 9 bedroom, 6.5 bath, and 9,400 square feet. All right. I'm looking at this thing and I'm going to be honest with you. I called it fugly with an F. All right. Because it is. It's just not that attractive as a property from the outside. But here's what I noticed about it. Okay. So here are the attributes on the property. It had 9 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms. It was big property. Cool. It had 2 private ponds on it that already were stocked with fish. Okay. We could add kayaks and paddleboards to that to improve that experience. It had a 3-car garage that we could use to convert to potentially a game room. It already had a built-in theater room, a pool, which we could heat. Okay. It already had a room that was like technically a gym with mirrors in it. It also had a yoga studio. We decided to put in 2 hot tubs because we're hosting 28 people. We put in a mini putt course, had room for that, frisbee golf, even a putting green, and there's a fire pit. And I think there's one other big amenity I'm forgetting, but there's a lot of stuff. So we're looking at this property and we see the land, we see the ponds, we see the rooms and the garage and all the space and opportunity. And we're like, holy crap, we can create something unique for this market that other people don't have. And I'm going to take it a step further. So this is the before pictures or a before of it. Okay. Obviously overgrown vegetation. And this is after. We actually redid the front of the house. We left the brick, but we redid the shutter, like the pillars and everything. It looks a lot better. But you can see we make it pop and it's loaded with all kinds of amenities. Now, everyone asks me, well, what's the ROI on the fire pit or the hot tub or the putt or what? I don't know. That's not the point. The point is the overall revenue and how are we attracting the right guest avatar. We bought this property for $1 million. We put over $400,000 like all in on this thing. I think I have the numbers right here. Yes, amenity furnishing, and then like the construction. Okay, maybe. Anyway, we're like in it with the down payment and everything. We're at $400,000. Okay. I projected us to do about $250,000 on this property. All right. My break even, because it's a lower price point for a larger property, is 125, meaning if I make 125, I can pay my cleaners, I can pay my mortgage and pay all my expenses and I'm good. Okay. So that's a pretty good cushion if I really do 250. We've already done over, we're actually past this. This is an old thing, but at the time I made this in July, we're at 195. I made $70,000 in the month of July, just the month of July on this property. And you know how much we're making in August? Another $70,000. In September is at like 45 or something right now. So like we launched this in April of this year. We were cash flow positive in month 1. All right. This is the before picture. But like the point being is like not just, oh, you can find these deals around the country, but knowing the experience of what people are looking for creates a ton of demand and like excitement about the property. And so that's like, I'm not saying go buy these huge, huge properties, but know who you're trying to attract and what would attract them to there. And you don't have to worry about all this like post marketing on Facebook and social media ads and all like worrying about all these things when you have a really cool listing that you can just show off on Airbnb and it's the top of the list, the top of the algorithm on Airbnb because you were targeting the right people with the right amenities. Let me get out of here real quick. See where else I want to go. All right. Let's skip to coming up with actual like creating or designing modes because I'm going to go back to this idea of like, it's not just about adding a particular amenity. You need to be creative and strategic about the amenity you're adding. So let's do a little bit of an exercise. So yes. Okay. Some of these slides are out of order, but that's okay. I warned you guys, this would be a little bit, I'm going to move this around. All right. So we had a room. All right, this is my designer. This is actually the designer I was talking about. We had this room that looked like this. Okay, it's a small room. This isn't our other Airbnb in Texas, excuse me. And this is like we're like, cool. What should we do in here? My designer's like, let's turn it into like we already have like a really cool game room, and I'm going to show you that in a second. We have a theater room. We have all these like really cool amenities and things in this house. But with this small room, like, what can we do in here that's going to not be super expensive, and also make us more money and attract our guest avatar? And so our designer's like, first she's like, let's do the poker room. And I just told you the story about that. And we're like, that's a terrible idea. That's not who we're trying to attract. So she's like, okay, well, let's do like a card room or a board game room. I'm like, okay, I could see that like for families, right? Like board games, not just like, oh, we have cool arcade machines because we do, but we have a room specifically for board games. Okay. All right. So designer, give me your rendering. This is what she came up with. So what I want you to do, put in the chat right now your initial reaction to this. Is it terrible? Is it bad? Is it okay? Is it good? Is it exceptional? Do you get excited about it? Tell me just something generic in the chat. What are you, cheesy, bored, meh, terrible, looks cheesy, dark, blah? Yeah, right? Like boring. Yes, thank you. I'm going to be frank with you. This looks like every other, if everybody was to do a game room, this is what it would look like. You got the classic neon sign, you got the table. Okay, everyone's killing this thing. It was a rough draft. So we're going to give her a little bit of it. It wasn't terrible, it was basic. That's a good way to put it. Thank you, Aaron. I see basic, just okay. Cynthia, thank you for that. So exactly, right? Like it's like, like it's not really a special room. And I'm not looking to spend thousands of dollars. So Kelly asked, why not add another bedroom? It was too small to add another bedroom. And we already had enough bedrooms for the bathroom ratio. So like, it's kind of a weird configuration where there's two entrances to this room or to the bathroom. And so one of them was through this room. So it's an interesting house, but anyway, when we're actually supposed to launch it next week, so I'll share some pictures on my social media when we launch it, and you guys can see. But long story short, this is what they came up with, and I was like, look, that is basic. right? Like I'm not excited about that. I'm not like let's get better. Like how can we be better and more strategic without breaking the bank? So what we came up with is this. This is what we're going to do. Okay? What do you guys think about this? What's your initial reaction? Someone said, I'll say, yes, girl. Yeah, exactly. Right? Like the only thing that's quote unquote more expensive in this design than the other one is this game table, right? And all in all, the total amount more is like $500. Like we have literally like we're going to do this about the same amount of games, maybe a little bit more here. But you notice how the approach is different. We're not stacking the games on top of like, look, we have Yahtzee and Monopoly and like, a stack of games you can do. It's like we are showing off the games. We have lighting here, like rope lighting. Like that's not expensive to add, but it adds everything. We have a little bit of like a light fixture here. It looks more cozy and attractive. If you love board games, you're gonna love this room, right? And a lot of families do. A lot of like we're not going to add a bunch of like these like really advanced card games or this is a rendering, but this is the room. This is the space. This is what it looks super cozy and attractive and it just makes it look appealing. Remember, we're approaching it from the marketing standpoint of I have to sell this on Airbnb and try to attract my guests. How do I do this? We didn't come up with this overnight. Okay. There was a lot of discussion. I know it's crazy for a single room, but like we were on Pinterest and Google Images and Airbnb and other markets really trying to find really cool game rooms for examples to inspire us to come up with the right thing. And I say game rooms, I mean board game rooms. So this is what we're going to do. And it's going to be super cool. But guys, this isn't going to be the hero image. This is going to be one of the images in our listing. And it wasn't that expensive to do. So, okay, and I'll answer some of the questions. I know some people are going to have some questions in a second. I want to show this next one. This one's big. So this is not the same property. Okay, we have the same problem, but on a bigger scale now. All right, so that was a very simple example. Now let's go to a more advanced example. So I have a empty shed on this property. It's actually a two-car garage. It's taller than it looks. It's bigger than it looks too. But here's the garage here and or shed, I should say. We have a three-car garage attached to the house, but this is like a detached shed garage. This is what it looks like on the inside. Okay. Awesome. What do we want to do here? We go to the design team, and I'm like, design team. So people are saying batting cage, speakeasy. Okay, cool. Fitness center. All right, these are all good, but you're blurting out random things, and you have to stop. Number one, all of you should be asking, who is your guest avatar? Who's coming here? Remember, I mentioned families. Well, also, we need to know where. Remember, I talked about where the market is. This is in Fort Worth, Texas. Okay. So, Fort Worth, Texas is home of who? Unfortunately, the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but there you go. Sorry, Cowboys fans, but whatever. I have a property in your territory now. But also, it's a big golf scene as well. And we have a pool and pickleball and putt putt and all that great stuff too. But there's a big golf scene. So I see some people put somebody said a mechanical bull. Liability. Always check with your insurance before you add random amenities like that. So be careful with that. That one I would not want to. I don't think you're going to be able to add a mechanical bull. But let's keep going. Okay, so I got this room here. We're like, hey, we want to make this like a cool game room. So the designer's like, yeah, let's add the pool table, foosball, air hockey shuffleboard, arcade machines, and a golf simulator because you guys have the money to do it, right? Like we've seen all the properties that have it. My Kentucky property has that in their game rooms. Like it's so basic now to have those things. The golf simulator, it's starting to be more common, but that's like pretty common. And what does that make you feel? It's basic, it's blah, it's not anything special. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want something that's going to wow people. Okay. And I don't need every room of the property to wow people. I just need two or three. Okay. And I didn't mean really wow. So we said, look, we like the idea of the golf simulator, but for those of you who've seen golf simulators, they don't really look super sexy in pictures. They're cool. It's like, oh, cool, you have a golf simulator. But it's not like I got to go use that thing, or it could be for some people, but it's just like, cool, you have it. feels more like the checkbox, right? I have something that nobody else has. However, I was like, what can we do to make this room special with the golf simulator? So I said, I started Googling really cool golf simulators because that's where I start. And I was like, what if, and I found they make curved ones, like curved screen ones. I said, what if we built into the wall the golf simulator, put cool lighting around it, and made it look like a really cool, like a sports room. Okay. And the designer was like, say no more. And this is what we came up with. This is the rendering. This is actually what they're building too. But we did flooring like the football field. We did like the little, the signs. But look how this is. So it's literally built in, curved. This is the actual model of what it's going to be like. It's massive. We took it. A typical golf simulator is like 8 to 10,000. This is $20,000. Okay. You can do golf on it, but guess what you can also do? You can watch football games on it too, and baseball games if you like baseball or whatever. You can watch whatever on it. But we said no pool table, no hockey, no shuffleboard, no arcades. Make this a room that will stand out and be different. And it's our stadium room. We're even doing like a little jumbotron thing too. You got the chairs, you got the seating, you got the flooring. This is like actual AstroTurf of the football field, which is really cool. And you've got all of this built in with this simulator where you can watch games, you can do the golf simulator and enjoy. But there's no pool table, there's no arcade machines. We sacrificed all that because this is one of our moats amongst a lot of other things that we have too. But this is wow. It is heated and cooled. So we spent about $80,000 on this shed alone. Okay. So we had to make sacrifices in some of the other rooms. We had to go and, like our theater room is relatively basic. It's not like, oh, this luxury theater room that's really standing out. But that's not our hero image. That's not our marketing approach. It's more of a checkbox because that's what people enjoy. We have, some nice seats and stuff and it looks okay, but this is what people are going to do. And the people who are setting this up, the people who are designing it, everything we're sitting on this, we're saying, what does it look like? Give me updated pictures. Show me, make sure it freaking looks like this. And it does. It's almost done and it looks already really cool. So, yeah. So Natasha says you'll make that 80K just like that. We will. And that's what I'm talking about, guys. That's what we're doing. So transform. Let's go because I need to wrap up here and answer questions. My point to you today is don't go after the basic things and think basic. Transform the average. Yes, we should add hot tubs. Yes, we should add game rooms and all that kind of great stuff, but transform it. So let's look at some examples of transforming it. Here's a little mini putt-putt. Okay. Now turned into, this is my Kentucky bourbon themed putt-putt. Okay. This isn't the same property. This is just an example, but like the point is, oh, I have mini putt-putt. That's a checkbox. I have bourbon themed putt-putt. This is at my Kentucky property. That can be marketed, right? Let's go to another one. I have a hot tub and look, I have the cover off and I took a picture of it and there's some string lighting around it. That's average. That's basic now. 2 years ago, that was like, oh, cool. Now that doesn't work. What can I do with a hot tub? I don't know. Just put like a, luminescent dome over it with some rope lighting and take a picture of it. How cool is that? Right? Okay. I didn't come up with this idea. This isn't my property. This is one of my clients' properties. But like, guys, like these are the things like outside of the box. Doesn't have to cost you a fortune to do. Okay. Here's one of this is actually my lake property. This is one of the rooms. It's like this weird living room with a little outlet space and everything. We turned it into a theater room, right? Transform. We said, look, we have a hot tub. There's the lake market. There's things to do. What can we do to like help people in the inside of the property? And have just like have a good time and inside when it rains or when it's cold or whatever. Theater room. Boom. Increase guest experience, make more money. My listing is like the number one in terms of revenue in that market. So like big time. My closest competitor makes $80,000 less than me. The same size property, $80,000 less than me because they're not thinking about it like that. They're thinking about what can I do to just get booked? Not how can I improve my ADR or how can I improve the guest experience? So my lesson to you, do I have any other, I do have some other examples, but maybe later we'll get to them. My lesson to you, ladies and gentlemen, is to transform the average. Think strategically when you want to add amenities, not just what amenities. That's not the right question. It's who and why and what market. That's how you know what you should add to your property. I want to give you some homework before I answer questions. Your homework assignment, I want you to go to my YouTube channel at STR Insights. I have a video called Crush Your Competition with these amenities. It lists out some of the amenities. It talks about, it carries on the conversation from what I just told you today. Okay, it's at STR Insights. I have a really good podcast you can listen to as well, Cash Flow Positive, my podcast. If you like the sound of my voice, listen to that. I don't know who does, but anyway. So I guess my mom, she's my only listener. But and then finally, if you could do me a huge favor, please follow me on Instagram at Kenny_Bedwell. I put out good content. I talk about this stuff all the time. So it'll be very valuable for you. Anyway, go do the homework. Let's do some questions. If there are any.
Feel like you answered a lot as we went. Let's see if anyone had anything else come through. One thing I did see, Kenny, earlier was someone was talking about like some of those rooms that are really cool, like the game room and stuff. How do you and like really just all people have been asking about like upkeep of these and like how much that costs versus what you're making for them and all of that kind of stuff.
Um, oh, like upkeep of the
Just
game
like
room.
talking about like maintenance of these amenities, basically.
Yeah, it's gonna vary. I that's why like I think too, like one of the going back to like the stadium room that we did, we said, look, we're adding a $20,000 piece of technology. Now, something we do too is we put QR codes that have video examples of like us like going through the actual like instructions on how to use it. And that helps out with a lot of like, how do I use this thing? But the reality is like we cut out everything else in this property to because it's like we're number one cost wise, but number two also simplicity. So I definitely think there's value in keeping things simple, but also where we are in competitive state, we have to get creative too. So from it's going to depend on the amenity and the maintenance of it. I would try to just like keep things simple but creative. Like this room is very easy to it's televisions and the golf simulator, which is a computer, and I get it, but like with a regular golf simulator would be in the same position we are with this one. So it's not really that crazy, and we have actually less technology in here than we would with a normal game room. So that is something that's like really, I think, important to think about as well. Hopefully that kind of answers the question. So
Yes, it did for sure. A lot of others have come in. Let's see. People are asking about cowboy pools, like the stock tank pools as an amenity. We actually do work with them on there, but have you seen those? How have you seen people make those creative? And
yeah, so those are
do
really
you
good in
feel like
like
those are a good amenity?
yeah, those are really good in like hot markets like desert. I know like Joshua Tree, a lot of places, Southern California, even like the Texas Hill Country, those do really well. Once again, cool. It's a cowboy pool. It's an amenity. But how can you separate yourself? Like what can you do with the cowboy pool? And it's really lighting or like vegetation around it or like the feel, the vibe. Like that's really what I'm trying to get at too with this is like, yes, you can add that amenity, but what do you do? How are you marketing that amenity? It's like a two-part, thing to that you have to kind of answer. So yeah. But yes, cowboy pools can work.
Great. Okay, let's see. We have how do you balance quality versus affordability when it comes to amenities and furniture selection?
Exactly. So
Sorry, I didn't
quality
see
is
that one
very
as well.
there's levels of quality, and I think this is where the Minoan staff can definitely speak up to on that. But um, like I'm not saying go buy like Pottery Barn everything. But you definitely need quality products in your short-term rental, or they will break and you will get complaints. And so if you are trying to be frugal, I definitely think like middle of the road products are fine, but more importantly, like I would rather see you have 1 to 3 really cool spaces in your property rather than all of the spaces be mediocre. And that includes your furniture as well. Like I don't necessarily I'm not saying go put in mediocre furniture, but like some furniture that's middle of the road, it could be cheaper because it's not maybe the most aesthetically pleasing furniture, but it's also maybe in the kids' room or something like that where you don't have to like go all out. You know what I mean? But in the master room, yeah, it better look good and it probably should be very durable too. So like I think there's like gives and takes when you're going through this like startup cost process. So but yes, quality should be like kind of top of mind as you're looking at products, or you're gonna have a hard time with reviews.
Okay, it looks like we probably have time for one or two more.
Yeah.
How do you define your avatar or your target user? Do you use data or just what you want to attract? We are in the Austin metro area.
Yeah. All right. Who's ready to see this real quick? So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go and I guess Taylor, you are gonna send out this recording, right?
Yeah, this is going to be sent out today in an email, so everyone will be able to see
Awesome.
it.
So you're gonna listen to what I say, go watch the recording again and so you can nail this down. So what you're gonna do is go in Airbnb, go put in your market, Austin, Texas, just hit search, find a bunch of properties with really high reviews. So we'll take this one like 58. Okay. And sorry, let me back up. If you already have a property in this market, this is very important. Go ahead and put how many guests that property can accommodate. So let's say you have a property that can sleep 10. Okay. So now you're seeing properties that can sleep 10 people. That's important. Okay. Because that's going to be more in line with like your competition. I have Raleigh. So obviously I live in Raleigh, but we want Austin. Okay. So Austin, 10 guests, whatever. Now I've got this property again. It popped up and I'm just looking for properties with lots of reviews because the data is in the reviews for who your guest avatar is. Take this, and here's the thing. Here's what you'll learn. You see, it says group trip here, and then it will tell you like it fit 13 girls very comfortably. What does that tell you? Who was coming here? It was probably a bachelorette party, and that's fine. Okay. And then like, but you're taking all these reviews. All right. So I like to just really grab them all like this. Okay. And then I will take those and I will go into Chat GPT and I will tell it to, I will post the reviews here and then say, who is my guest avatar? And ChatGPT will tell you who is coming here. Then ask them, why are they coming here? Where are they coming from? Because all of that data is here. Hallie is from Austin. Chelsea's from Corpus Christi, like New York, Tennessee. You will learn and get very specific. If it's families, what are the typical ages of children? People will put in here, this was great for my toddlers. This was great for my teenagers. This was great for my, like 11-year, my preteens. It's not everywhere, but like people will put that in their reviews and you'll learn someone so and so stayed with a pet. If everyone's staying with a pet, that tells you have a lot of pet friendly people. What kind of pets? Now you have a better idea how you can attract the people who are already coming to your property and get more of them. That's how I determine my guest avatar in a nutshell.
That's awesome. We love that. Love
Yeah.
that. That's great. And I think let's call it there because we're right over time.
Yeah.
Kenny, thank you so much. Like I said, we will be following up with the recording of this after. Also, we can follow up with a way to get in touch with you, Kenny, on that email as well, because I know people had a lot of questions. So they probably will have some more for
Just
you.
hit me up on social media, guys.
Okay,
Just Instagram at Kenny_Bedwell. And
perfect.
yeah, I'll do my best to answer. So,
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kenny. This was great. And thanks everyone for the participation, and we'll see you soon.
yeah, thanks, guys.